My name is V Win, and my topic for my Public Health 2 presentation is the Jack in the Box E. coli outbreak. Step 1, background information. Jack in the Box had first introduced the nation to Escherichia coli 0157H7 in the year of 1993. This type of E. coli was first identified in 1982, and it was caused by contaminated hamburgers. E. coli was caused by undercooked red meat, specifically hamburger patties, and it lives in the intestines of cattle and can affect meat when it is slaughtered. It also causes bloody diarrhea, and some had hemolytic uremic syndrome. In the year of 1993, this outbreak had caused the death of 4 children within 4 states, including Washington, California, Nevada, and Idaho, and sickened over 700 people. When investigating the source of the issue, the CDC traced E. coli back to specific slaughterhouses in the United States. This issue was first recognized by the Washington Department of Health. Step 2. Analyze the current situation. The problem at hand was the undercooked hamburger patties being the source of the E. coli outbreak happening in the year of 1993. Some strengths: they were able to identify which specific Jack in the Box that had started the issue, and E. coli had already been discovered at the time. The weaknesses would be the initial denial and inefficiency of Jack in the Box when addressing the outbreak, which slowed down any progress that could have been quickly made. Company officials even proceeded to state that they had followed the proper preparation guidelines, despite the fact that it had already been proven that workers did not cook at state-approved temperatures. Some opportunities were that it allowed for the needed change and improvement in public health. Specifically, the pathogen reduction and hazard analysis and critical control point was created to ensure the safety of raw meats. Furthermore, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association worked to fund research towards combating E. coli. The threat was that undercooked beef is extremely dangerous to its consumers and can be easily overlooked. For the USDA, which stands for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, their mission statement is, "We provide leadership on food, agriculture, natural resources, rural development, nutrition, and related issues based on public policy, the best available science, and effective management." Step 3. Prioritize core issues. So the issues they needed to keep in mind were establishing a new system for food inspection as well as guidelines for cooking at proper temperatures, the death and harm caused from E. coli, and analyzing and altering the diet of the cattle that eventually enter these slaughterhouses, as well as each process that is involved in processing beef. It is also important to spread awareness on the potential dangers of undercooked meat and E. coli itself. Finally, communicating public health issues to consumers and the general population. Step 4. Analyze alternatives. So the case solution in this outbreak was the development of HACCP. It is a detailed food inspection system that uses microbiological testing in order to detect foodborne diseases. The theoretical model I chose was the social ecological model, and it factors in many different factors of the public health promotion and public health issues from individual, interpersonal, community, organization, and policy. The first alternative to consider would be irradiation, which is the sterilization of meat through gamma irradiation. The second alternative would be steam pasteurization, which is the steam technology that is used to kill pathogens on dead cattle and has been proven to be effective in lessening pathogenic bacteria that relates to general E. coli, Salmonella, and E. coli 0157H7. Step 5. Recommendations. So the first recommendation would be the diet of the cattle. Avoid feeding cattle with grain. Instead, hay-fed cattle has been proven to shed E. coli more than grain-fed cattle. With that being said, also avoid abruptly switching the cattle diets. Another recommendation would be the prevention of cross-contamination. Human behavior is an important factor in preventing cross-contamination, and making sure to follow the proper hand-washing procedures, disposal techniques, and separating different workspaces is extremely important to consider. Step 6. Establish action plan. So first, having the food industry, food protection programs, and public health officials work together in creating a new guideline and procedure for fast food restaurants when cooking meat would take around 2 months. Next, communicating with the public and hearing their concerns and recommendations would also take about 2 months. Furthermore, provide proper knowledge about E. coli within the education system, as well as taking the time to educate the food industry on these threats would take around 3 months. Slowly integrating more of a hay-fed diet to cattle who are grain-fed would take about 5 months. Also, carefully follow HACCP principles and application when handling meat at all times. By 2025, we should hope for the implementation of irradiation as well as steam pasteurization to the process of preparing meat across all slaughterhouses in America. Step 7. Conclusion and opinion. Through this outbreak, I saw the importance of taking effective action on E. coli 0157H7, as this issue would have continued otherwise, and developing a proper action plan to prevent foodborne illnesses. It is also important to emphasize proper procedures in the kitchen as well as tracking the meat from the slaughterhouse to the second it is ready to be sold to the consumer to eat. A new approach to consider would be the proper development of a vaccine that can be used for cattle, making sure to be aware of any environmental effects their manure may have, as well as targeting foodborne illnesses. Thank you for watching my presentation.